Back, episode 6, Swishes, Hits, and Kicks. We are back. I'm your host, Richard Carrion, and man, following off of episode 5, I'm still feeling good. We're hitting March. Today's actually March 2nd, recording on this lovely Saturday. And man, just things are going great. An old school jam is in my head right now, and I don't know why. It's just been on my mind like crazy. And I just laugh because I don't know how this 90s song popped in my head. I haven't heard this song in forever, and it's just I don't even remember her name, but it was just I'm all out of faith. This is how I feel. Cold and I'm ashamed. Lying naked on the floor. Losing everything. This is how I feel. And I have no why the song's in my head because I don't feel that way whatsoever. But that's okay. But we're here. We're hitting good vibes early and often on this lovely March day. And what I want to start with is I got to talk about my Sacramento Kings. My Kings, last night, man, they won another overtime, banger, I would call it. And against the top team in the league, too, the Timberwolves, the Minnesota Timberwolves are a top team in the NBA. And the Kings ended up winning an OT, 124-120. And, man, shout-outs to Malik Monk. The guy's automatically probably, to me, is the sixth man of the year. But he came in big time, scoring 39 to help lead us past, especially with Fox not playing right now. Man, we needed that spark, to come help us win. Because the Timberwolves, I've talked about this player in the past. Anthony Edwards, to me, is a big-time guy in the league. He's going to be huge, and for us to get the win over them, we just need to keep this momentum rolling. We got to get playoffs, and hopefully we do the damn thing, right? Sticking with basketball. I've been talking about this guy, I feel like the past couple weeks. Or episodes, excuse me. Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson is finally going to get a statue with the Sixers. And I just think that's so cool because, as I've said before, I'm a huge AI fan. Growing up, with the question shoes, and then the answer, the crossover, all that cool stuff. Him crossing up Jordan his rookie year, right? All these things now have led to, him finally getting this, statue, just like all the other Sixer greats, they get a statue, and it's called the Sixers have what they call a Legends Walk at their training complex, and there's statues of all the legendary Sixers, and he's finally getting his, and man, I couldn't be happier for the guy. I was always a big AI fan, I feel like most of us 90s kids, especially in that early 2000s, man, we were all about AI. Let's stick with these good vibes, because I feel like we're getting into it quick, but, there's just honestly so much. There's so much goodness going on right now. So, it's a lot to talk about, but, I would say big NFL moves. Man, this offseason in the NFL, there's so many players, I've said it before, I like free agency because they get to move around, teams get stronger, right, different parts getting in, and there's a lot of moves happening right now. Basically, a lot of guys are getting let go, and a lot of cap space is freeing up before the draft and free agency. The New England Patriots, right, they have over 100 million in cap space. Shout outs to that Tiki Punch, Zero Sugar, get on it or get lost. But anyways, yeah, there's a lot of moves happening right now before the draft, before free agency hits, and I love it. To me, even back in the day, in the football video games, one of the funnest parts is the off season because you get the draft and get to do free agency with players, and I don't know, I always find that fun. We've talked about Justin Fields. They're saying there's this coming week, there's a good chance the Falcons trade for him. And that'll be interesting. Is Kirk Cousins leaving Minnesota? Where's Russell Wilson going? Russell Wilson's ready to ball out, but it won't be in Denver. It's the Chiefs. I think we've talked about it. The Chiefs, are they going to keep their defense? Who's that next big player that's going to leave? It's going to be impactful. Brandon Ayuk, the Niners wide receiver, I don't think he's going to stay there. I don't think he wants to stay there. He wants to get paid, and man, I don't know, wanting like $25 million, and I don't think the Niners are gonna be able to give it to him. I said it in one of the beginning stages of this podcast that like the Niners got a lot of guys they have to pay. And next year I think is Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy's gonna make some money next year, so I don't know. I don't think they're gonna pay Brandon at all. So we'll see how that goes. Come to Vegas. Sticking with Vegas. The draft is coming up. And I'll be talking more about the draft as we get closer, but I have to bring this up because he's a big-time QB prospect. Heisman Trophy winner, Jayden Daniels, LSU. Man, the Raiders are looking at him big time, and he's openly said how he would want to play for the Raiders. And that's because him and Antonio Pierce have a great relationship. Coach Pierce, I believe, had helped Coach Daniels at one point. And they're hoping, there can be a reunion between them. That would honestly probably mean, like, it'd probably mean for us to have to trade up. But, man, like, if we can trade up and get him, I'm not even saying, like, we're going to kill it this year automatically. But, like, I'm just going to be stoked because our future's going to look real good. I've been talking about pro wrestling a bunch, and I've been saying it. I'm going to keep talking about it because there's so much going on. And right now, I'm going to talk about not WWE. I'm going to talk about this company called All Elite Wrestling, AEW. Okay? AEW is having a pay-per-view on Sunday. So if today's Saturday, tomorrow's the pay-per-view. Is the cough there? No, just clearing the throat. And card's big card. If you're a pro wrestling fan, you're like, oh man, they got a lot of matches to look forward to. But there's one match that's gonna headline the show, and I'm bringing it up because like it has everything to do with why I became a fan. It is Sting and Darby Allin versus the Young Bucks. Yeah, the tag team championships are on the line, but I'm not even saying it's on the line. The reason why the match is gonna main event is because it is the Icon Sting's last match. And, man, Sting's been wrestling since, 85, I believe he got into the ring, 85? Geez, 1985, Sting got in the ring. And why it's a big deal to me is because the first time I watched professional wrestling, it was Sting. Sting was on my screen. And it's crazy because I don't even remember who he was going against. But I remember the blonde hair, blonde flat top, the crazy colored paint on his face, and the neon type tights. And that got me hooked on pro wrestling. I'm talking, that started at least a 30-year relationship journey with pro wrestling. Him and Shawn Michaels, who's ready to retire, but Sting and Shawn Michaels were literally my guys growing up. And Sting's still my guy. So watching that's gonna be insane because I've been watching him since 92, 93, and he's 63 now, and he's finally retiring. It's just, I don't know. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. It's just going to be huge. It's going to be monumental. They've sold out their arena. It's almost 17,000 people going to be here. So, hey, like I said, wrestling's good right now. It's good right now. But, yeah, can't wait to talk about Sting's last match. It's going to be insane. And WWE in general, that's still great, too. If anyone watched SmackDown, The Rock went on there and just tore it up, and the hype's building for Mania. You got The Rock doing 1-minute Instagram posts just talking pro wrestling. So pro wrestling's it right now. I'm telling you, get on the train. If you want a Mania party, hit me up. We can have some fun for Mania. Next good vibe, and this is great because this kind of played off of Debbie Downer last episode, was Cam Newton. Cam Newton apologized for his role in that scuffle. It's been making the rounds, the video, and he put it out on his show, talking about it and saying that, he takes the blame because he let his own emotions get in the best of him. And he even said that, like, the president of that foundation that he owns was like, Cam, we can't do this. Like, you can't act that way. And he's right. Like, he really can't act that way. Even though, like, he didn't swing on those guys like he could have. He shouldn't have done that. He knows that. And I'm curious what the guys have to say, because he said he's made some apologies, so we don't really know. But I'm just glad, like, he's already put it out there, you know. Like, he believes he shouldn't have done that. And he apologized because, you know, those kids look up to him. A lot of people look up to him. So that was a good vibe for me. Let's see. What are we talking next? Oh, man. I've been talking about this. I've been talking about her a lot on the podcast, and that's Caitlin Clark. And I keep bringing her up because she's changing women's sports. And she's changing women's basketball specifically. Let's get into business type talk with her first, because I think this is huge. Like, it's not being talked about enough. But Caitlin Clark's season finale for Iowa, shout out to Tiki Punch one more, is gonna be the most expensive women's basketball game ever. Not just NCAA, but WNBA. The ticket prices right now are about $557 a piece. The lowest price is $498. My goodness. Insane. Like, this girl is crossing over, and to keep talking about her more is only good because she just declared for the WNBA. She just declared for the WNBA, and she's going to be booming. Like, she's actually helping their sales already, their tickets, attendance, all that stuff. And, you know, tomorrow, Sunday, March 3rd, I believe she's right now about 18 points away from breaking Pete Maravich's all-time NCAA scoring record, men or women. So she's pretty much guaranteed to break the record. Like, just, you know, she's doing awesome. It's great for not just women's basketball, women's sports. I've said it before and I'll say it again. They've needed this. Like, they need Caitlin Clark to just keep kicking butt, man. And this is great, you know. If anyone has daughters out there, like, this is an athlete they can look up to. That's going to be like their Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, whatever you want to call it. It's good stuff. There's a huge Nike ad now in the city of Iowa. In downtown Iowa City, near where they play. Like, big deal. She's a big deal out there. All right, this one's a fun vibe. I saw this the other day, browsing around social medias, and there is a phenomenon happening, and I'm calling him a phenomenon right now. On, I believe he is on Indiana State. The nickname he has is Cream, not Kareem, Cream, like cream filling, cream soda, peaches and cream, heavy cream, whipped cream, cream. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Yeah, that's his name, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And this dude is balling right now for Indiana State. His real name's Robbie Avila. Shout outs to my Mexicans, you know, that heritage right there, right? He's handling business right now. This dude is kicking butt. His team is 25-5. They're 23rd in the AP polls. And this guy is putting up numbers. My goodness. Like, what is he? He's a sophomore. He's averaging about 17, 18 a game. You know, he's about to be all conference. And he's 6'10", 240. And it's just, they see him out here doing certain things, you know. And he's just, the nickname, like, sets it over the edge. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It's just, I'm already rooting for him right there. Like, that's it. That's done. I don't even need to hear any more. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you're the guy. Rooting for you. I'm going to Indiana State. Indiana State's going to take it all in March Madness. You heard it here first. Just because my boy Kareem. That's it. That's all that matters. It's the part of the show where we got to get into the Debbie Downer vibes. And the first one I want to talk about is might be a surprise to some of you, and that's UFC events. And the reason I call it Debbie Downer is because as I'm talking currently, there's a UFC event going on. It's a fight night. Headlined by, I believe, like Rosenstruck versus another top 15 heavyweight. And, Jared Rosenstruck's a top 15 or so heavyweight in the UFC. There's like no advertising really. They don't promote it a ton. Having UFC events every weekend diminishes the events. Next weekend, and I will talk about it, is UFC 299, Sean O'Malley, Marlon Chito Vera. Great card. The card's insane. But think if they just built maybe one fight night, one pay-per-view every month, or just one pay-per-view and then two fight nights and then a pay-per-view instead of every week. They basically do, I think, 46 weeks out of the year, 42 weeks out of the year, something like that. They do that an event every weekend, and I just think it's too much. I call it Downer vibes just because, I'm sorry, I'm not watching that. I guess I'm not the biggest MMA fan, but it is what it is. I'm not doing that every weekend, man. There's only so much time in the day, and time's precious. They always say time is money, but time's something you don't get back. So I'm not going to watch it every weekend if it's not worth it, right? If it's not big enough to, a special to take time out to watch. I'm sorry. Another downer is the NFL Combine. And I say it's a downer a little bit because a lot of people assume, the Combine's a must for all the prospects. But props to Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. who are no, you can come to my pro day and see me. I like that because the NFL is just it's a business. Everything's a business, right? And I heard one of them say, a quarterback I believe said, "I'm gonna have him come to the pro day because then they can see everybody else." Not everyone gets invited to the Combine. So it is special in a way. But the pro day, man, I feel is more intimate because, one, there's not as many people. And reality is they're there for that school. They're there to see those people. And shout outs to those guys making them wait and being nah, man, come check me out. You can watch me here. I like that. You're helping out the rest of your guys that maybe aren't getting a look. They're declared for the draft, but, man, there's no guarantee they're going to get drafted. So, I don't know. I just like that. They're helping out the boys right there. Another downer vibe, I guess, would be something I've talked about, too, already. The No Bull Tour again. I'm talking about it again because, originally from the outset, they were The Last Dance was trash. It wasn't truthful. It was just about Michael and yada, yada, yada. Now Scottie Pippen's out here saying, Michael is the greatest of all time and blah, 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 this and that. And I'm dude, are you just doing a show? Almost, not even a stand-up show, but a live show? That's how you should have promoted it. Originally, it was almost being promoted we're doing this because this is our truth about the real Last Dance. We have no bull in this, right? This is no bull-ish, right? That's pretty much what it sounded like. It was portrayed. And now it's oh, no, it's nothing like that. Okay, then what's the point of going? This is stupid. I don't know. It's a waste of time, bro. Just go to cons, bro. Just let people meet you and say what's up. Start a podcast, go on a podcast and talk about it. Don't do this tour that's a waste of time. Because, we live in a society now where people want to hear the negativity. Honestly, if they wouldn't have said any of that stuff in the beginning about, Last Dance being bad, all about Jordan, no one would care about this. But now that they're saying, oh, we love, Jordan is the best and blah, 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 okay, then what are you doing? Who cares? Just go talk about it on a podcast. I don't know. To me, it's just stupid. Stupid. Sorry. And the last one is, talking about the disparity in Major League Baseball teams and their team salaries, and I can't say salary caps because as far as I know, the MLB is like the only United States and Canadian leagues, sports leagues, that don't have a real salary cap. But I'm bringing it up because like it's crazy when you look at the disparity of like the Yankees or the Mets compared to the A's salary cap. Like the A's, the Oakland A's, who won't be staying in Oakland forever, right? So as far as we know now, but like they have their salary cap is $59 million. The Mets salary cap is $315 million. All right, and it's all based off of like how much the owner is willing to pay, right? Like, but there's also supposed to be a luxury tax if like you go over the threshold. I think the new threshold is like 237 million. And they're supposed to be like, you know, you have to pay back so much millions, right? The Mets have like $100 million luxury tax, but like it doesn't matter because they'll just keep going up. Like, when did they ever pay this? Like, they need a strict cap. They need a strict cap so it's more even playing field. Like the rest of the leagues. Like the football has it, basketball has it, like soccer has it. They need salary caps. They need caps to make this like a more even playing field. Like a team like Oakland, you were never in the hunt for like a Ohtani. Like you're never in the hunt for these guys. Like why would you be? You don't have the money for it. So now, like, I don't know. When you think about stuff like that, it puts baseball in perspective of like maybe. Like I was having this conversation. It's not America's pastime anymore. Basketball has way more social media followers. Football's bigger. Football's the biggest based off TV ratings, right, and views. So it's not the pastime anymore. You're trying to do the pitch clock now to make the game go faster. I assume sooner and later they're going to want to try to do more home runs because home runs equal ratings. Shout outs to McGuire and Sosa and Griffey and Bonds, right? Griffey wasn't on steroids, but the other three were, and guess what? Who cares? That was the most entertaining time of baseball. Sorry. Like, I don't know. MLB's got to do something. I'm wanting to talk about baseball a little bit when the season comes, but I don't know. There's some things to me that are like, kind of, like I said, like this is Debbie Downers, right? Debbie Downers about it. Let's go into some cool closing thoughts. I have a bunch on my mind. Let's start off with the fun one. Love is Blind. Love is Blind season 6. Man, we're getting down to the wire, right? The weddings are coming, the reunions are coming, and I can't wait. All the spicy drama. Man, me and my wife are just like, what's next? Laura and Jeremy ain't working out. Jeremy over here got girls all inside. Old boy Clay over here blinking like dude's doing Morse code with his eyes, like blinking, and over here saying, man, I just hope I don't cheat. You ain't gonna win. My guy Jimmy, who was everyone had hated on in the beginning, and I'm calling him my guy now because I don't know how you handle being with Chelsea, man. I'd have dipped out on her real quick. That chick's bipolar, man, or whack, as some people would say. Shout outs to Junior. You know, I don't know. I'm excited. That show is great. They need to have that show all year round, ready to go. What else is on? Dune 2. Dune 2 is out right now, and I really want to go see it. I was a fan of Dune 1. And now Dune 2, that's a good one. There's another movie coming out next week, too, that looks wild, though. Looks kind of scary. I'm not the biggest scary movie guy. I kind of was, though, because my wife and her family is super into that kind of stuff. But Imaginary, it's called Imaginary. Almost like the one that her and her family don't like, Hereditary. But Imaginary. So we'll see. That one looks pretty good, too. What else is on my mind? Oh, this is on my mind. I was talking to my coworkers about this. I was thinking about how, like, in society, I think parents, right? You always say, you know, I want to leave stuff better for my kids, or, you know, I want to leave it better for the next generation. But I've been having thoughts of, like, when we do that, are we just, one, trying to make things easier, and two, does that hurt them? And I say, does that hurt them? Because most of the time, people had some adversity in their life, some type of struggle that they got through to become what they have, and they might even deem it successful. Because everyone's success is different than each other's, right? Like, my success is probably different than yours, right? What you deem successful is probably different than what I deem successful, right? Some of us deem success in, money, right? Or what we gain, relationships, right? Status. And I've just been having this conversation because I think about it in my head. I'm like, are we hurting like our future generations more? And right now my answer is yes, because I'm looking at what I see in society right now. I see it at work, see it out and about, see it on TV, see it on social media. Our society right now is full of a bunch of entitled people who assume that things are supposed to come to them. Assume that they're supposed to have it this way, or it's supposed to be like this, or, oh, don't worry about it, I'll just go tell this person and they'll fix it for me, or they'll do it for me. And I'm saying that because I don't think that helps anyone. And from what I can see right now in our society as a whole, not just like my town, my work, anything like that, is we are making things so much easier for people and giving it to them that we're not developing skills, strengths, grit, right? We're not developing that grit, that inner, when you have a fight or flight, we've always talked about that. There's a fight or flight in you. We're not developing that fight. And I don't mean fighting people. I mean fighting through adversity, struggle. And I think that's just hurting us more. We want to, when people do something bad, oh man, we always talk about like positive reinforcement. When in reality, some people need a swift kick in the ass. They need one. I needed one. Got one. I think it helped. This is just something that's been on my mind. I feel like we all need that. And this generation currently, probably through, I'd say like 22, 23, hasn't gotten it. They make assumptions and assume that this is how it's going to be. And now, I'm not saying everyone, but I'd say a good majority that are shown, that you see. Like, they don't have to grind for what they get. They assume that they should automatically have it. Like, I should have that job. Well, you don't qualify for that job. Oh, that sucks. I think I do. Doesn't work that way. And I wish it, and for some I wish it did. But that's just not how life works, To make diamonds you need pressure, right? You need to have some type of struggle to pop out and be shining, right? Well, we don't let people do that anymore. I feel like so much. That's why we don't have a lot of diamonds shining right now. Everything's handed to them. Everything is handed to them. Hopefully that changes, because like, even, I don't even have kids yet, but I think to myself like, dang, I know I always say like, oh man, I want it better than I had it, but I'm like, no man, I think about it a lot. And I'm like, in some ways sure, but like other ways I'm like, no dude, like they need that struggle. They need it to make them build some. One, it builds character. Two, it builds some grit, and it builds a fight in them to want to succeed. Okay, and that's what you need. And the last thing I'll talk about before finishing up is my excitement for March. A lot of cool things going on. A lot of things just personally going on that I'm excited for. And when those things happen, obviously, I'll share as much as I can, but I'm just excited. I don't know. Like, we're going to hopefully get out of this rain situation, this terrible weather situation. And we're going in a lot of cool things, a lot of good times. And that's all we do here, right? We have good times, good vibes, and great conversations. Let's see. How do we close this one out? Follow me on Instagram I have like a goal I want to hit in followers, so please share the podcast too. Share Instagram, follow me on TikTok. Trying to put more videos out there. Please go subscribe to YouTube. Go subscribe. Check me out. I'm going to start putting more shorts on there because those are easier to digest, right? Content wise. Go download from Spotify and Apple Podcasts, wherever you get all your other podcasts, right? Go get all that and let me know what you think. Send me messages. Just let me know. Put in reviews on iTunes and Spotify, wherever you can. Just like let me know how it's going, what you're thinking about this. I'm having a blast doing it. Good vibes, no Debbie Downers here. Stay with it. Swishes, hits, and kicks. Get with it or get lost. Let's go.